Hello there! So today I'm going to talk to you about how to find the right shampoo and conditioner for your hair type. So before we get started, I just kind of want to break down what shampoo and conditioner, what its purpose is, because I'm kind of shocked that some of my clients don't really know. They're a little lost on it. Like everyone knows, yeah, you shampoo and condition your hair to get it clean, but they tend to kind of use it wrong sometimes, and then it has issues with how their hair is performing. So first of all, the purpose of shampoo is to remove sebum, which is oil. It's to remove any product buildup, any dirt from the hair, and it's intended to be focused on the scalp, so really cleaning your scalp. Of course, if you use hair products, you want to bring it down on your ends, but your main purpose is to really scrub your scalp. And when I say scrub, the best way to do it is to use your fingertips, not your nails. You're not trying to rake your hair. You really want to rub with your fingertips. And then the point of conditioner is to give the moisture back to your hair, especially if you have drier hair. It's to kind of give that moisture back to it, especially for the ends. It's to add shine. It is to prevent drying out, and it's to assist in easier management. So when you're brushing it, and then when you go to style it, and all that kind of stuff. So let's go ahead and start. The 5 hair types I'm going to talk to you about are fine, coarse, colored, damaged, and oily. And you might be thinking, oh my gosh, I'm more than one of those categories. What do I do? Well, I'm pretty sure that I'll end up answering your question. So let's start with fine hair. Fine hair, the actual strands of your hair are fine. You can have a lot of hair, but your actual hair strands are very fine. You're more susceptible to looking oily. It also tends to lay kind of limp unless you have the right styling products to help you out. And the shampoos that you're going to want to look for are clear shampoos. So they're kind of more of a runny consistency, a little more liquidy. You're going to want to look for bottles that are marked for daily use or gentle or frequent use. That doesn't mean you need to use them that often, because when you wash your hair every day, which most fine hair people they tend to do because they're like, I just can't because it's oily. That's actually really bad for you because you're stripping your hair of your natural oils and your proteins. And when you do that, your hair tends to freak out and is like, oh my gosh, we don't have any. So it produces even more. So giving it a day in between at least, so washing every other day, and you can use a dry shampoo in between, which are actually really awesome. The way they work is you kind of section your hair, hold it a hand's distance away, spray it in, and then rub it at the root, and then go to your next section. You only use it on the sections that are really oily, and all it does is absorb the oil, takes away odor. It works awesome. You only do it at your root. I know some people try and put it at their ends. That's not what it's for. It's just for your root. And a lot of people feel like they have issues with it being kind of white or powdery. The ones that I've had a great experience with are Kenra and KMS and Oscar Blondie. All of those I have had no problem with, and as you can see, I have dark hair. So as long as you're using it the right distance away, just kind of one spray, rub it in, you'll be golden. So you're also going to want to only brush your hair twice a day. And if you're not brushing your hair twice a day, you should. And I know it seems weird, but here's why. When you brush your hair, you're touching the brush to the roots where the oil is, and you're pulling it down to the ends, where the ends tend to be drier, they don't have as much moisture, so you're wanting to kind of spread it. So 1, you're taking it off your root, and 2, you're giving it to your ends that really need it. So you're going to want to brush it in the morning, and you're going to brush it at night, but don't brush it any more than that. Try not to touch it. When you touch it, you're going to stimulate your scalp, which is going to stimulate sebum buildup, which is oil. So you don't really want to play with your hair, touch your hair, twist your hair. Just try not to touch it at all, and that will really cut down on the oil production. Also, when you're washing it, and you wash it every other day, it's going to probably be oily for a little bit, but you literally will train your hair to produce less oil over time if you just wash it every other day. For conditioners, you're going to want to look for ones that are lightweight or bodybuilding. Even tea tree works really well because you tend to be more oily. Tea tree is awesome. It has lots of antibacterial properties, moisturizing properties. It helps with sebum buildup of oily kind or dandruff. So it works really great with all of them. And I'm going to tell you a trick later on when I get to the oily section. And then with your conditioner, your shampoo, you're going to really want to scrub your scalp with just your fingertips. You want to really scrub. I always shampoo twice. The first time is to help get off any products you have, your base oil, and then the second time you're really getting the rest of the dirt off and all of that other stuff. So you're going to want to do that twice, and then for fine hair, you're going to want to do about mid-shaft down. So depending on your hair length, it's going to be a different spot. But you're going to want to do from mid-shaft, kind of like halfway down your hair, all the way down, and really coat that. Try not to get too much at your root if you're super oily. If you're just kind of oily, I would definitely touch a little bit at your root, just because if it doesn't feel like it has moisture, it's going to overproduce. So mainly you want to concentrate your conditioner on your ends. And examples of kinds that you can get: Thick Wash and Thick Rinse are by AG. They work really great. They're super cool because they're volumizing, but the way they work, most volumizing shampoos, what they do is rough up the cuticle, and that's what allows it to look fuller. But in doing that, it's kind of a little bit damaging, and also if you have colored hair, it allows for more color to escape. So the way Thick Rinse and Thick Wash works is super cool because it actually works as two positive magnets that when you put them together, they reject each other. So it coats all of your hair and then rejects itself, and that's kind of how it makes it look fuller. So it's super cool. It's also color safe, which is great if you have fine hair and it's colored. Works great. Another really good one is Pureology Pure Volume. Again, that one's color safe, and it works really well too. Now we're going to go into coarse hair, which is my kind of hair. So this would be curly, wavy, thick hair, any kind of hair like that. So for us, we tend to have very dry hair, and the reason that is because the way your hair is shaped, actually, the oil at the root has trouble going down the hair shaft, so it kind of just stays up at the root and never really gets to the ends. So brushing is super important for us. Even though if you have curly hair, you're probably like not excited about brushing it because it takes out the curl form. But if you're going to wear it over a couple of days, it's really important to be brushing your hair, again, because you're moving the oil from the scalp down to the ends, which is where it really needs it. And for us, we're going to want to look for creamy shampoos. So really thick, creamy consistency type shampoos. Anything that actually has silicones in it, or ingredients that are kind of slippery agents, those actually are really good for us because they coat our hair and help hold in the moisture, which is really cool. So usually you want to avoid those, especially if you have finer hair, but for our hair type, it works great. Also, you're not going to want to wash it very often because you want to let your natural oils kind of do their thing. If you're washing it every day, you're already dry, and then you're also stripping your natural oils, which make it even drier, and then you run into breakage. So you definitely want to wash it every other day at least, if you can push it to 2 days. I know with my hair type, it's not really pushing it, it's just the way my hair works. I can go 3-4 days without washing it. And it's not gross. If you have an oily hair type, then you're probably like, ew, that's disgusting. But trust me, it's not. If you have dry hair and a lot of hair, it takes a long time to style it. So it's really not disgusting. It's just how our hair type works. For conditioners, you're also going to want to look for something that's creamy and thick, something that's moisturizing or ultra moisturizing, something that's very heavy. And with our hair, you're going to want to put it pretty much everywhere. Again, conditioner, its purpose is to moisturize the ends, but because we have dry hair, you don't really have to worry about keeping it off your scalp. You can pretty much put it everywhere. And for us, an awesome trick is to wash your hair first thing when you're like in the bath or the shower. Wash your hair twice, condition once, leave the conditioner in, and then shave, wash your body, face mask, wash your face, whatever you have to do. And then the last thing you do is rinse your hair out. And that way, when you're in a warm environment, it actually lets your hair cuticle open and allows the moisture to penetrate deeper. So you're going to get a better result and feel kind of more moisturized if you leave it in for a longer amount of time instead of just putting it in right away, rinsing it out. And it'll usually say on the bottle, like, leave it in for 1 to 3 minutes. You can leave it in longer, trust me, no damage done. My personal favorite that I always go back to for shampoo and conditioner combo is Sebastian's Penetrate. I feel like the shampoo does a good job of getting all the product, dirt, oil off, and yet still moisturizing my hair. And the conditioner is super creamy, really nice consistency, makes your hair really soft afterwards. Love it. And also a really good one is Redken All Soft. And they have a shampoo and conditioner combo as well, so that works awesome. Next, we're going to go into damaged hair. So this one's a little bit tricky because it depends on what your personal damage is. You're either going to need something with more protein or something with more moisture. And like I said, it depends on your damage. So this is probably an area where you're going to want to talk to your hairdresser and ask her what she thinks you should have, or him. I don't know why I keep saying her on my videos. It could be a him too. So with yours, you're going to want to look for creamy, moisturizing consistency shampoos, things with silicones as well to coat, seal the moisture in. You're also going to want to definitely add in a deep conditioner treatment. It's something you do once or twice a week. You leave it in much longer than your normal conditioner. With any deep conditioner, the way to get the best result is to wash your hair twice, squeeze all the water out of it you can get, even towel, toss it a little bit, and then you're going to take the deep conditioner, put it in, really focus from like ear down. You can get some at the root too. And then kind of do a little twisty, put it on your head. Try not to seal it with, like clip it. You can do like a clip or something like that. Try not to use hair ties or something. Your hair is a lot more delicate when it's wet. It's a lot more susceptible to breaking when it's wet. So try not to use like a hair tie or something that's going to be harsh on it. I know with my kind of hair, I can just like twist it up and it stays there if it has like stuff in it. And then put a cap on it and either be in the bathtub or somewhere warm. If you want to get out of the bathtub, put a towel around the cap. And what this is going to do is create a warm environment. And when you're in a warm environment for your hair, it opens up your hair's cuticle and it's going to allow your protein or your moisture to really penetrate deeper. Also, with protein, I would go with the directions on the side of the jar for the amount of time because you can overdo it with protein. However, with moisture, you could leave it in a lot longer than it says. Usually the maximum time they say is like 15 minutes. You could leave it in longer. You could leave it in 30 minutes if you wanted to, and that would really give you a better result and not do any damage. So 2 great examples for stuff that works really well. Again, it depends on what your personal need is. If you need something that's protein, a great one is Redken Extreme. They have a shampoo and conditioner duo. And then Joico K-Pack Reconstructor is super high in protein, really effective, but you can overdo it. So make sure protein is what your hair needs by talking to your hairdresser. And then also, just make sure you're also using something that's moisturizing to give that back. Protein is going to rebuild your hair if you've like stripped it with lightener a lot or something like that, but you need to give it moisture back. Too much protein makes your hair too strong, starts to feel dry, brittle, and breaks. If your particular issue is dryness or damage from heat tools or something like that, a great thing to use would be All Soft, which is by Redken. They have a shampoo and conditioner duo, and Joico has an intense hydrator. They have a duo of that, and both of those are great. And I'm going to do a separate video on my favorite deep conditioners because those are just like regular shampoo and conditioners that you use like for everyday use. Don't wash your hair every day, but you know what I'm saying. Now we're going to go into colored hair, which pretty much a lot of people have at this point. And the good thing for you to know is companies are out to make money off of you, and technically there's a lot of shampoos and conditioners that are color safe, but they're not packaged in a bottle that says color safe for colored hair, blah, blah, blah. So you can use a lot of the ones I've even listed before, and they're already color safe. So you don't have to be getting something that's just specifically for color. What you're going to want to look for if you have colored hair is something that says sulfate-free, which actually they're not sulfate-free. Little secret, if you read the ingredients, they still have sulfates in them, most of them. The reason it says sulfate-free is because the type of sulfate that really strips your hair and strips your color is not in it. So it's kind of became like the buzzword of the moment. Everyone's like, oh, you can't have sulfates, they're horrible for you. Well, sulfates are a cleaning agent, so they still are necessary, but you don't want the harsh kind if you have colored hair because it's going to strip your hair away faster. You're also going to want to look for labels that say color safe. There are certain lines like ABBA, everything in their line is color safe. AG, pretty much everything in their color line, or in their line is color safe. There's a lot of them, really, that are. And it'll say on the back, too, if you read the back of the bottle, it'll even say if it's color safe, even if it's not, that's your particular reason why you're buying it, is to protect color hair. The only thing I will say is if you have red hair or blonde hair, this is important. I would get a color depositing type of shampoo and conditioner if you have red hair, because red hair fades the fastest. It's really hard to keep it rich and vibrant. So Joico and Wella make really great ones. They basically, it just has a little bit of a tint to the shampoo and conditioner, and it helps kind of deposit a little bit, helps to richen it. Because if you have red hair, every time you wash it, you'll probably see a little bit of color going away. And no one wants to pay, like, I don't know, for me it's like $60 to do a color, $65. No one wants to pay that and then have it like running down the drain every time they wash their hair. So that's something that's super important. If you are a blonde and you want it to be really platinum, really pale, then I would get something that is a violet tint. And what it does, if you look at the color wheel, the opposite of violet is yellow. So if you have like kind of golden hair or it's kind of brassy and you don't want that, using something that has a violet tint to it is going to counteract that, and it's going to actually help make it look more pale, more light, all that kind of stuff. Especially if you have used a toner or something like that. Once the toner starts to fade off, that'll kind of help keep that color that you're really wanting. Great ones for that, again, is Joico, Wella, Redken makes one, AG makes one. If you want to stick with your normal shampoo for your hair type that's still color safe, this is blondes I'm talking to. If you want to stick with your normal shampoo that's color safe, that goes with your hair type, and then only get one conditioner that's violet tinted, that's a great way to go. You also don't have to use it every time. If you have super brassy hair, super golden hair, you might want to, but you can also use it like every other time, and then it'll definitely say on the back of the bottle how long to keep it in for, and that I would go with, because if you have very porous hair or really damaged hair and you leave a violet shampoo or conditioner on too long, it will start to tint. It will start to look violet. So for that case, I would definitely follow the instructions on the back and you will be golden. We're going to go into oily hair. Now, like I said, you can fall into more than one category, so you might be saying, you know, I have fine hair and it's also oily, or I have colored hair and it's also oily. So these are just kind of tips to help deal with the oil. I will say, if you have a ridiculous overproduction of oil and it's just crazy, it could be hormonal, it could be something diet going on, it could be happening for reasons going on like inside your body. So if these tips don't help and you don't see any difference, definitely go see your doctor. You can talk to your hairdresser first and see if they have any special tips for you. But if it doesn't work, go see your doctor. It could be something else going on and you'd rather catch it sooner than later. And if it really bothers you that much, deal with it. You know what I mean? So the first tip I have for you is the tea tree oil trick. So tea tree oil is, I was talking about it earlier, it comes in like a little oil bottle. There's also Paul Mitchell products that already has the tea tree oil in it. They have like a lavender one and like a lemon something or other one. And basically what it does is antibacterial properties, so it's going to really clean. It is moisturizing. It helps with sebum, which is oil, for both sides. So if you have really flaky scalp or if you have a really oily scalp, it helps with both of those. And the thing that I've done in the past that I like and that I recommend to my oily haired clients is take your normal shampoo and take an actual tea tree oil and put your shampoo in your hand, put 2 to 3 drops into the shampoo in your hand, give it a little swirl, and then really scrub your scalp with your fingertips. Do not use your nails. Really scrub your scalp and do that twice, and then do your normal conditioner, and that really helps to deal with it just by adding that in. Also, definitely stay away from anything that has silicones in it because that's going to kind of help. It seals in moisture, so it's going to help seal in your oil. So I would stay away from that. Also, not touching your hair too much. If you're constantly playing with your hair, especially up at the root, you're going to stimulate it and it's going to produce more oil. So stay away from that. Brushing your hair twice a day, once in the morning, once at night, to move it from the root down to the ends, but not overstimulating it any more than that. Also, altering your diet can help. There are certain foods that have been found to help produce less oil, so kind of like chill it out. There are certain ones that produce more. So if you're eating a high concentration of something that produces oil and you're like, I don't know what's going on, well, it could be that. So sometimes altering your diet can help. Also, supplements can help. So do a little bit of research on that, things that help with oil production and that kind of stuff. So all those are my tricks to help you. I will have more beauty and fitness videos to come. Just remember, it's nice to look good and take care of yourself beauty-wise and fitness-wise, but what really matters is who you are on the inside. So I will see you next week.